How do you see the future trajectory of AI would be in military?
Other operational aspect, for example, troop planning or logistics and things like that.
So if India's military was to induct AI into its operations, where should we start? Where should India start?
I think Defense AI Council was set up back in 2022. Right? So this is, the idea was to encourage adoption of AI in the military. Can't blindly take civilian solutions, right, and try to apply them in the military. Right? There are a lot more challenges, a lot more nuances, a lot more practical, difficulties that have to be overcome in order to apply some of these in the field. Right? I don't even have data anywhere, right, in the open domain for me to train an AI model to detect camouflage vehicles. There has to be this collaboration with the military and the AI experts.
Artificial intelligence is transforming the world, not just in industry, business and science, but on the backend field as well. From real-time surveillance and predictive logistics to mission planning, targeting, autonomous systems and cyber warfare, AI is quietly becoming the new foundation of national security. How do we adapt AI in defense faster than our adversaries, while staying safe, ethical and sovereign? To answer this, we are joined by one of the most influential AI minds in the country, Professor Balaraman Ravindran, one of India's foremost AI researchers and academician. He heads the Department of Data Science and AI, the Vadvani School of Data Science and AI, the Robert Bosch Center for Data Science and AI, and the Center for Responsible AI at IIT Madras, shaping India's research, talent, and policy landscape across both cutting-edge and responsible AI. A global authority on reinforcement learning, geometric deep learning, and responsible AI, Professor Ravindran is shaping not only India's AI research ecosystem, but also its ethical foundations with national values. By the end of the episode, listeners will understand both the opportunities and dangers of military AI and the choices India must make to secure the battlefield of the future. Let's dive into this powerful discussion with Professor Balaraman Ravindran of IIT Madras. Without further ado, let's get started. We have with us Professor Balaraman Ravindran, who is the head of Department of DSAI at IIT Madras. So welcome. We want to speak to you about your subject that you focus on at IIT Madras, that is AI and its Indian military operations.
I don't quite do that in IIT Madras. I work on AI in IITM, but so I do a lot of work nowadays on AI policy. So I've been invited to talk about that.
So if you were to tell us a little about how we can integrate AI with military applications, how can we do it?
See, so the AI is not a single technology, right? So AI is a very vast suite of technologies. Almost every aspect of operations, every aspect of tactical planning, right? So there are many places where AI can be used. It can be logistics, right? It can be your inventory management. It can be a troop movement planning. It can be more theater style level planning and things like that, right? So a lot of areas in which AI can be used. It is not just as in the popular imagination. AI means flying drones and Terminator bots killing each other and so on and so forth, right? So that's one aspect of it. Potentially, AI can be used in lethal weapons, but that's not the only, in fact, that's not the most, my opinion, it's not the most recommended use of AI in armed conflict. But certainly there are a whole bunch of other things, including surveillance, better, more SIGINT can happen through use of AI, right? And looking at multimodal intelligence, combining them with the use of AI. All of these things can happen, right? A lot more impact that AI can have across the entire spectrum of operations in military, as opposed to just improving your lethal capacity.
So if India's military was to induct AI into its operations, or even things like you mentioned, logistics, where should we start? Where should India start?
India has already started. What do you mean by where should we start? Defense AI Council was set up back in 2022. Right. So this is the idea was to encourage adoption of AI in the military, and also the Defense AI project agency was on specifically on sanctioning, monitoring, and onboarding AI projects into the military thing. And then of course this is thing was operationalized through the DRDO for a bit, right? And even though I'm not completely sure of how many projects and how what level of military induction has happened due to the creation of these agencies. But it's not like India is starting from scratch, right? So we already have some of these that came out. There was this task force on AI for military applications that was constituted when Nirmala Sitharaman was the defense minister quite some time back.
Yeah, a lot of funding has happened through IDEX as well, through its Aditi program, where critical.
So it's not like in India has to start inducting AI into the military. So there's a lot of effort that has already happened, right? And then the biggest challenge, in my opinion, has been that we don't have enough people with experience in doing AI research for the military, right? So you can't blindly take civilian solutions, right, and try to apply them in the military domain.
Just a quick reminder, subscribe to us if you haven't already, if you want to keep up with India's strategic growth and not miss out. Because just like India, we are only getting started, me and my team, and we promise to continue bringing you conversations that matter. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video.
Right. There are a lot more challenges, a lot more nuances, a lot more practical, difficulties that have to be overcome in order to apply some of these in the field, right?
To make it dual use?
Make it dual use, if you will, right? So the challenges are things like, operating conditions are not always ideal. You will probably have a lot more noise than you would operate in a civilian condition, right? And of course, you will not have the same, reliability and connectivity and so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of things that can happen. You can't just take a solution that runs on the cloud, right, and that requires you to have a 5G bandwidth to talk to the AI, and then try to say that, okay, I should be able to do this anywhere in the field. Right? So these kinds of challenges are there. The second thing is a lot of solutions which people have built on data gathered from the civilian domain would probably not work even if the application is very similar in the military setting. So, for example, object detection. So that might be, you might be very good at having something that can detect objects from a very grainy camera image, as long as the objects are running on a road. Now, if I'm going to start having a camouflage vehicle, I don't even have data anywhere, right, in the open domain for me to train an AI model to detect camouflage vehicles. There has to be this collaboration with the military and the AI experts.
In terms of data, is it?
Not just
data sharing?
See, I don't want the data to be in the civilian domain either, right? So, it's not that it's easy for the military to sanitize the data and give it to the civilian domain. In which case, you probably will make the data useless in terms of the model that you build, right? You can't use it in the military domain because you're sanitized to stupid. But that is a fine line. So, I would say either you get people with AI expertise, somehow get them the clearance so that they can work on the actual data, or take people who have the clearance, train them to do really cutting edge AI work. And if you look at folks in the US, right, people who work for DARPA and other places, right, they are people who can stand their own in an academic conference, go toe to toe with some of the top professors, right? So that's the kind of deep expertise they have, right? And we don't have it in India yet. Right?
Both the challenges that you mentioned, so intersects the policy recommendations that we suggest to the ministry as well, where we talk about how the military officers need some level of understanding of technology.
That is one part of it. I'm going beyond that. See, that is being addressed now, right? So a lot of, we even do training programs for the Navy officers and things like that. We go often to many of the training programs and actually talk about AI. The awareness level is all there, right? But awareness, where will you go for the solutions? I know that there is AI. I have the awareness of an AI solution. Where am I going to go for the solution? I don't want you to go outside India for the solution.
Absolutely.
And if I have to build the solution within India, where is my skill, right? Who has both the military background and the AI background to have actually trained these models that are usable on the field? So this is a big challenge.
That is why we have institutions, premier institutions like IIT Madras, and that's where you head this department. I would love to know more about what IIT Madras is doing in the sidelines of AI as well as the military, adoption.
So, I mean, IIT Madras has been at the forefront of a lot of the AI work that's happening in the country, right? Including not just in terms of teaching and training, but also in terms of translational research, right? So a lot of solutions that we come up with have actually gone on to the field, and for example, there is the India's multilingual AI, right? So, I mean, stack, right, called Bharshini. So IIT Madras is this big contributor to many of the tools that have come into Bharshini, and the most successful AI startup in the country right now, Sarvam, came out of IIT Madras, and they have been building
even IdeaPod for that matter.
Yeah. So a lot of these AI companies that actually are creating impact on the field are incubated from IITM. And apart from that, so we have the usual. I mean, I shouldn't say usual. Not too many IITs have an undergraduate program in AI. So we have undergraduate program, master's program, and all that. But we also have about 8 to 10 master's programs in AI that are targeted towards training industry professionals. Right. And so that is again something different, right? So we have a lot of people from the industry who go through AI skilling and AI training program at IIT Madras. So all of that is creating a bigger impact.
So you're saying the education on AI has to be normalized into more deeply into different.
Every sector has to have an AI component to their education. There's no question about it. It's like computers, right? So now you don't learn about anything without learning how to use a computer to solve the problem in your domain, right? So likewise, you would come to a point where you wouldn't learn any discipline without learning how to use AI to solve the problem in your discipline. You might not learn AI per se, but you learn the use of AI in your discipline. There's no question about it. I mean, somebody was telling me just before, one of your team members was saying that you use a lot of AI in your production itself, right? So everybody, not just me or the defense, so or the media. So everybody has to start using AI at some point. And I think that awareness and education has to happen.
So what do you think are the lessons that we can learn from countries that have adopted AI well, such as the US and China?
Define well?
Well, I mean, there are companies that are, working on LLMs as well as different...
Sure. See, the thing with both US and China, right? The amount of money they have been spending, right, in fundamental research is phenomenal. India is nowhere near. And the amount of money the industry folks spend on research, right? I mean, we keep telling how our government doesn't spend enough on research. Our industry spends even less on research, right? So in that kind of an environment, right? So it's not like none of this AI business is overnight success. Right? So the biggest thing that we have to learn from there is, sure. So you have to invest, you have to stay invested long time. Learn, because we are starting late, right? So we have to figure out how we are going to leapfrog these guys into doing something better, right? And so we have to figure out what is going to be our niche, and then start doing that. So I think we can learn from what they did wrong, but we certainly can't hope to immediately replicate what they have done, right? So because in many ways, we don't really have the kind of money to invest in AI alone, right? So there are so many other things that India still have to invest and do research in. But so we can't really just go the US way. And we can't really go the China way as well, because there is still a lot of investment that China did. And maybe even if I don't think we can match even China's level of investment in AI. But also the kind of, the availability of data and other things that China kind of just can declare, this data is available for training and things like that. We can't do that, right, in other countries. So we have to figure out our own way to make this work. So that's why I asked you to define well, because I don't know if what exactly worked in the US and China will work in India.
So. Correct. So the last question for you today is that how do you see, coming back to the military application, how do you see the future trajectory of AI would be in military applications? Because we're seeing a lot of drones right now, so maybe AI and drones will be together. And what do you think would be the trajectory?
There's going to be significantly more adoption of AI. So like I said, right? I mean, other operational aspects of this is going to happen much faster. Because the technology is easily transferable from the civilian domain to the military domain. For example, troop planning or logistics and things like that, right? And when it comes to actual, things like surveillance or espionage or actual weapons targeting and stuff like that. Since first there are ethical issues that need to be addressed, and second, I think we really need to figure out a way to get human oversight for some of these things, where the time to respond is minimal. Right? I mean, if we're talking about, for example, targeting, right? So the missile is in the air and have to decide whether to hit this building or not, and that gives me like couple of seconds to make a decision. How will a human come in, take in the information, and then be able to make a informed decision? So those are challenging questions. I hope we kind of inject AI into those kinds of things once we have an answer to it. But that's just my hope, because in some of the other scenes that we already see, right, it has been done by other countries. So once somebody starts doing it, then it becomes a little bit more challenging for everybody not to do it.
Absolutely. So ethical consideration has to be taken in regard in terms of bringing policies which help human and be in the loop always.
Not always, but when the cost is high.
Absolutely. Sir, thank you so much for spending the time. I really enjoyed the conversation. I'm sure the audience had a lot of takeaways as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you made it to the end. Hopefully, you learned something new today. Please double check for me if you're subscribed, and don't forget to share this video with a peer who could benefit from it as well. Until next time, keep reimagining yourself and know that the power of change lies within you. Share it.